You know there've been a lot of terrific players from South Africa. Jacques Kallis is so long to seem to be first among of them. We can look back to guys like Graham Pollock, Barry Richards, but today we are talking about A.B. de Villiers. De Villiers is a former South African professional cricketer. He is widely regarded as one of the greatest batsmen of all time, someone who's known Mr. 360. We thought we'd salute the career of the legend by looking at some highlights of his life story on the past few years. Abraham Benjamin de Villiers was born on February 17, 1984 in Warmbad, South Africa, to Abraham B. de Villiers and Millie de Villiers. He has two elder brothers, Jan de Villiers and Wessels de Villiers. He described his childhood days as really relaxed lifestyle up there, where everyone knows everyone. He was educated at Afrikaans Hoër School in Pretoria, along with teammate Faf du Plessis, who was and still remains his good friend. He is a high school graduate. His father was a doctor who had played rugby union in his youth, and he encouraged his son to play sports as a child. After a spell in the South Africa U19 team, he made his debut for the Titans in 2003. He made his Test debut as a 20-year-old on December 16, 2004 against England at Port Elizabeth. He made a strong impression opening the batting, but was dropped down the order for the second Test, and also handed the wicket-keeping gloves. In this match, he made a match-saving half-century from number 7. However, he found himself at the top of the order again for the final Test of the series. Despite a good tour of the Caribbean where he scored 178 to help South Africa seal a Test series win, his rapid progress was slowed on the tour of Australia in 2005. Despite playing Shane Warne well and becoming the second youngest and second fastest South African to reach 1,000 Test runs after Graham Pollock, he struggled and made just 152 runs in 6 innings. He has been used in a similar fashion to Jonty Rhodes in ODIs, opening the innings. Although he currently bats in the middle order, de Villiers gave the selectors a sign by producing his then highest one-day score of 92 not out, which included 12 fours and 1 6, from 98 balls against India in the 2006 Winter Series. Competing in the 2007 Cricket World Cup, AB was in good form in ODIs, having scored 4 50s during the South Africa vs India and Pakistan matches. In the early stages of the tournament, AB's form was poor with 3 failures, including a duck against the Netherlands in a match where his team broke various records for batting, although he scored a 92 in the first round against Australia. He made his maiden ODI 146 from just 130 balls, including 5 6s and 12 4s, in the Super 8 game against West Indies on April 10, 2007. He had to bat with a runner for the latter stages of his innings, and found every shot painful due to a combination of cramps, heat exhaustion, and dehydration. His innings consisted of a second wicket partnership of 170 with Jacques Kallis, and a third wicket partnership of 70 with Herschel Gibbs. De Villiers' innings helped set up a total of 356 to 4 from 50 overs. His batting during the World Cup was inconsistent, as he also failed to score on 4 occasions, itself a record. Well, that's how this champion began his career, through a tough parade. Then this guy got the attention all over the world when de Villiers became the first South African to score a double century against India with his top score of 217 in April 4 of 2008. De Villiers scored an obdurate 174 that helped set up a 10-wicket win for South Africa in the second Test against England at Headingley Carnegie in Leeds in July 2008. This was followed by a 97 at the Oval before he came down the wicket trying to smash Monty Panesar for a boundary, and was caught on the fence. In the first test in Perth, De Villiers scored a match-winning century to help South Africa chase down the second highest ever fourth innings target of 414 with 6 wickets in hand. This was South Africa's first test victory in Australia in 15 years, and appeared to go a long way towards tilting world cricket's balance of power after over a decade of Australian dominance. De Villiers also took 4 diving catches in the course of the match, including one to dismiss Jason Kreja, a stunner at backward point. De Villiers only scored 11 runs in the second test at the Melbourne Cricket Ground, and made another low score in the first innings of the final test at the Sydney Cricket Ground. In the second innings of that test though, De Villiers scored a patient half-century as South Africa almost held on for an against-the-odds draw. During ODI series, in the fourth ODI in Adelaide, he played as wicket-keeper after Boucher was ruled out. He then scored 82 not out from 85 balls with 6 fours and a 6 to win the series, and was named the man of the match. In the first test of the return series at the Wanderers Stadium, De Villiers provided lone resistance in the first innings against a bowling attack led by pace bowler Mitchell Johnson, scoring 104 off 185 balls with 9 fours and 1 6, while his teammates all fell for under 50, but in the second innings he made only 3 off 7. In the third test, after centuries from Ashwell Prince and Jacques Kallis, De Villiers was the third centurion of the innings with a score of 163 off 196 balls with 12 fours and 7 sixes. This knock also tied the record for most sixes in an over as De Villiers, off the bowling of McDonald, hit 4 consecutive sixes. He was rested for the 2-match 2020 series against Zimbabwe, and because Mark Boucher was injured as well, Heino Kuhn donned the keeping gloves. De Villiers returned for the ODI series and also took over the gloves while Boucher was recovering. He did well against Zimbabwe, scoring 2 centuries out of the 3 ODIs, as South Africa comfortably won the 3-match series 3-0. His major challenge came against Pakistan for the 2 2020 matches, where he kept wicket. In the first match, he was out for a second ball duck off a superb delivery by Shoaib Akhtar. In the second T20 he scored 11 runs. He then participated in the 5-match ODI series where South Africa were chasing 203 to win, and he scored 51 before he was caught and bowled by Saeed Ajmal. In the second ODI he scored 29 as he was bowled by Shahid Afridi. In the same match, a flamboyant Abdul Razak played the greatest innings of his life to lift Pakistan to an unbelievable victory. During the third match, he scored 19 before he was stumped by Zulkarnain Haider. It turned out to be a mistake by the umpire as he had pressed the wrong button. In the fourth match, he missed out on a half-century while on 49 when he gave his wicket to the fielder at point. His good form in the series continued when he scored 61 in the final ODI, as South Africa won by 57 runs and the series 3-2. For his performances in 2009 and 2010, he was named in the World Test 11 by the ICC, and was also named in the World ODI 11 in 2010. Then he got better and better by the time, like a fine wine. AB de Villiers scored 2 successive centuries in the 2011 World Cup. He became the first South African to score 2 centuries in a single World Cup, and the 5th batsman after Mark Waugh, Saeed Anwar, Rahul Dravid and Matthew Hayden to score 2 consecutive centuries in a single World Cup tournament. He also became the 16th batsman to score 2 or more centuries in one World Cup tournament. AB de Villiers' strike rate of 136.73 is the highest among South African batsmen who have scored centuries in World Cup matches. With his 3rd Player of the Match award in World Cups, de Villiers is joint second with Jacques Kallis on the list of South African players with most match awards in World Cups. Lance Klusener heads the list with 5 awards. On June 6, 2011, Then South Africa coach Gary Kirsten announced that AB de Villiers would be South Africa's new limited overs captain. "I'm very excited, but I'm also inexperienced. But I've learned a lot the last 7 years from an unbelievable captain," said de Villiers, who had never captained a team at first-class level. "It's a big responsibility, but there'll be a fresh look in the side, which is good." In the 2011-12 South African summer, de Villiers featured in the home series against Australia and against Sri Lanka. In the latter, he scored a century in South Africa's win in the third and deciding test of the series. He was named the player of the series, having scored 353 runs. He then led South Africa for his first series, since being appointed captain of the one-day international team. In his first match as captain, South Africa inflicted the heaviest defeat in Sri Lanka's history, with a 258-run win in Paarl on January 11, 2012. It was also the largest margin of victory by runs in an ODI match between two test-playing teams. South Africa went on to win the ODI series, and de Villiers was named player of the series, having scored 329 runs, including a century in the fifth and final match in Johannesburg. On July 10, de Villiers was handed full-time wicket-keeping duties after Mark Boucher announced retirement from cricket after suffering eye injuries from a hit from a bail the day before. On February 4, 2013, de Villiers equaled Jack Russell's record of 11 dismissals in a match. He also scored an unbeaten 103 off 117 balls in South Africa's second innings of the same match. In the process, he became the first wicket-keeper to score a century and claim 10 dismissals in a test. On March 18, during the third ODI match of Pakistan's tour of South Africa, at Johannesburg, de Villiers and Hashim Amla shared the record for the highest third-wicket partnership in an ODI when they scored 238. De Villiers scored 12 fours and 3 sixes, and a total of 128. De Villiers proposed to his girlfriend at the Taj Mahal in 2012. After 5 years of dating, the couple got married on March 30, 2013 in Bella Bella, South Africa. They have 2 sons and 1 daughter. 2015 is the most memorable year of his career, without a doubt. On January 18, 2015, de Villiers scored both the fastest 50 and the fastest century by a batsman in one-day international cricket, off 16 balls and 31 balls respectively, and eventually scoring 149 runs off 44 balls in 59.5 minutes against West Indies. He just punched bowlers all over the park for fun. In 2015 World Cup, de Villiers was one of the top performers at the 2015 Cricket World Cup, scoring 482 runs at an average of 96.0 and strike rate of 144.0 during the tournament. He scored 162 runs off 66 balls in a match against the West Indies in Pool B, leading South Africa to their second highest total in World Cup history at Sydney Cricket Ground. With this feat, he became the record holder for the fastest 50, 100 and 150 in one-day international history. However, South Africa never qualified for the semi-finals of a World Cup. Under the captaincy of de Villiers, South Africa qualified for the semi-finals of the World Cup. After a thrilling match, unfortunately South Africa lost the match. De Villiers finished the tournament as the third highest run scorer with 482 runs, behind Martin Guptill and Kumar Sangakkara. At the end of the tournament, he was ranked number 1 in the ICC batsman rating in one-day international cricket and number 3 in the ICC batsman rating in Test cricket. He was named in the team of the tournament for the 2015 World Cup by the ICC. On January 6, 2016, the second Test match between England and South Africa ended in a draw. After the end of the match, Hashim Amla resigned from the captaincy, and de Villiers was chosen to captain South Africa for the last 2 matches. On February 21, 2016, De Villiers scored the fastest T20 I-50 by a South African in just 21 balls. He completed the innings with 79 runs in 29 balls and led South Africa to a clean sweep in the T20I series. On January 18, 2017, De Villiers ruled himself out from most of the Test matches and ultimately played in December 2017. However, a day before the Test match, Faf du Plessis picked up a viral infection, putting him in doubt for the match. On the morning of the Test, he was ruled out of the fixture, with AB de Villiers replacing him as captain. He also kept wicket during the match, as South Africa's wicket-keeper Quinton de Kock suffered a hamstring injury while batting on day 1. He took 8 catches in the match, and the Test match finished inside 2 days, with South Africa winning by an innings and 120 runs. De Villiers returned for the Indian tour to South Africa in 2018. He stated he had given up wicket-keeping as his back could no longer handle the demand, and Faf du Plessis resumed his role as captain in all forms of the game. In the second Test match against Australia, he scored his 22nd Test century with a score of 126 not out off 146 balls in the first innings. His performance helped the team win the match by 6 wickets. On May 23, 2018, De Villiers announced his retirement from all forms of international cricket through a video uploaded to Twitter, in which he explained his decision. One of the statements in his monologue was, "I have had my turn, and to be honest, I am tired." A few weeks after his announcement about retiring from international cricket, he clarified and said that he will continue playing T20 leagues for a few more years. During the 2019 ICC Cricket World Cup, and following South Africa losing their first 3 matches in the tournament, details emerged of De Villiers making himself available for selection for the national team squad on the day the squad was to be announced. He was not selected as he had not played any international cricket for his country leading up to the tournament, despite having been prompted to do so by South Africa's coach Otis Gibson earlier in the year. In January 2020, it was rumored that De Villiers was in talks to make a comeback to the South African T20I side for the 2020 ICC Men's T20 World Cup. De Villiers, as well as South African Director of Cricket Graeme Smith and head coach Mark Boucher, confirmed these rumors, but he will not take a part of South African Team T20 World Cup of this year. After all, in November 2020, De Villiers was nominated for the Sir Garfield Sobers Award for ICC Male Cricketer of the Decade. Royal Challengers Bangalore superstars Virat Kohli and AB de Villiers share a great bond between them both on and off the field. Having played together for RCB over the years, the two share great camaraderie with each other. While their partnerships on the field have often dazzled the fans, their chemistry off the field often manages to grab eyeballs. Let's take a look at his franchise career. Since joining the league in its inaugural season, De Villiers has become one of the most successful batsmen in the Indian Premier League. After originally playing for Delhi Daredevils, he moved to Royal Challengers Bangalore for $1.5 million in the league's 4th season. 3 of his 4 2020 centuries have come in the IPL, and as of June 2019, he has played in over 150 matches in the league. He has played match-winning innings for RCB and shown some destructive batting against bowlers, especially in the death overs. He is also referred to as Ayapad Beyond Hava de Villiers by the RCB fans, which means the savior. As of 2021, AB de Villiers holds the record for most Man of the Match awards in IPL history with 25 Man of the Match awards to his credit, playing for Royal Challengers Bangalore. To this day, there is no perfect batsman like him, and his legacy will remain for ages in this game. So yeah, if you like this video, make sure to leave a like and comment. But most importantly, hit the subscribe button. Stay tuned for our next episode.